This is where I started playing saxophone, and it still brings back a huge smile on my face, just listening to Dexter Gordon. I listened to this record Doxy of Dexter Gordon hundreds and hundreds of times, and Dexter taught me so much just listening to his music, his interpretation of jazz. I found out that Dexter Gordon was playing with this huge, really crispy sound that I love. The Dexter Gordon timing, these laid back quarter notes that are just big and fat right on the beat, and then the ever evolving melodies. He plays a melody, repeating it, and then makes it into these beautiful phrases. We'll dig into Dexter Gordon's solo on Doxy and try to get around all these topics. Remember to grab the deep dive lesson manual on Patreon because you need it. It's a huge help, and you'll double or triple your learning of just having it next to you. You can pause the video, you can slow down the video, but reading along would really help you a lot. The Deep Dive Lesson Manual download link is right below in the description. A question here: when did you last sit down and just listen to a whole tune? Because we're going to talk about listening, how we can really learn from an artist. And I believe that this is the only way we can really learn how to play jazz, really get into the essence of jazz. Listen to the artists that's played jazz. When I got this recording way back, I just started to listen to it and try to play along, try to play what is this. I didn't know what jazz is. I only had a saxophone for a few months, and then I started playing this stuff. I bought a saxophone when I was 19. I played a long time of classical piano. Then my teacher said, buy a saxophone, it's easy. It's not easy. But I started listening to Dexter Gordon. Truly, I didn't know anything about jazz. So let's try to do what I did. Let's just copy the first sentence of the melody and get this into our fingers. Try to analyze it in your head. How we do that is start by listening thoroughly into the melody. We have these first two notes. These are not the most difficult ones. But if you listen keenly, you can hear that the same thing is happening all through the theme. Just this up and down moving melody. When you have this kind of down, just the first phrase, like the first 4 bars, repeat it many times. What you want to do in between playing along with the record is listening to the tune, because you want to correct yourself if you play something wrong. And without the horn, this obstacle in your hands, you can listen better. And in these small listening sessions, you actually absorb more of the sound of Dexter Gordon and notice automatically how you can change your own playing. When you have done that, believe me, you will change how you play. You will better your timing, your phrasing and your sound. Another tip here is don't really think about it. Just do it. Play. Listen. Your ears and your brains will adjust into this and make it happen. So the next thing I would do then, just start with a few notes of the solo. I like the beginning because it's so clear and has this beautiful melodic phrase. It almost sounds like he's just playing another song. Start by finding the first 2 tones of play those plenty of times so that you get an idea of where you are in the song. Then add these 2 lower notes. A little bit further comes this little bebop lick. Now I'm going a little bit faster. And then there's the lick. You know the lick? Repeat the same phrase till you really got it into your fingers. One thing you might notice now that I didn't put any chords above the line we are playing. This is very deliberate because I want you to listen to the line. But now let's get into what is it actually that we are playing. So I learn the best when I get more options. Hear the music, play the music, see the music. So this is how the line looks in music writing. And I really like to see this picture for me because I can imagine how the sound is. So let's get into a little bit of analysis mode. Let's add these chords to it. So in that first bar, we basically have a C major chord. Then we're going into a dominant chord, the G7 with this bebop lick, and immediately resolving to the C major again. And then we have the lick, going up that minor scale and going into the C major again. What I do with the chords helps me to link the sound into a structure I know. It's easier for me to recall the sound when I have this chord structure above it. A thing I actually noticed by myself when I was studying at the conservatory, I was a bit afraid of the chords. They scared me. I was thinking, do I really need to learn all these chords? But later I realized it's the sound of the chords we're playing, because this will develop your ears. You can hang it up on this name. In this way you have the knowledge and the sound. When I'm looking at the chord scheme of Doxy, the original chords, I do get a little bit scared because there's so much happening. If I had looked at this first, I would probably have said, hell no, I'm not going to play this tune, too many chords. But if we compare the original chords to what Dexter Gordon is actually playing, then there's a huge difference. Dexter Gordon is only playing C major in the first line. C major, D minor, G7, C. These are all structures in the C major scale. To train this amazing melody skill, try making your own lines. With the inspiration of Dexter Gordon's line, playing basically the same chords, I just play a simple melody. What I'm trying to hear when I play this is the C chord in the first bar. So playing something C, then I have this D minor G7. But I don't really think D minor G7. I just think I need to go to the C in the third bar. So my focus is just C going back to C, not thinking chord tones or scales. Compose many of these own lines that you can get really into playing the sound instead of playing the chords. There are lots of these in the deep dive lesson manual on Patreon. You can just take them, grab them, put them into your playing. Listening a bit more to the Dexter solo, I get to the second chorus, and here other stuff are starting to happen. And this is what's happening in the top of the second chorus. So I want to dice this out. We can easily see that Dexter Gordon is playing so much more in this line. And in the second bar, it's not a G7 anymore. When looking at the melody, you see that Dexter Gordon is actually playing the A7 from the original chord scheme, because he's hitting that C sharp in the second bar. If you want to hear these subtle changes, you need to listen carefully, because you're used to playing the C major now. So anything that sticks out from the C major, well, it's not C major. Try to find out what that is. And the only tone you really need to find out in the second bar is the C sharp and the B flat. The rest is the same key, just C major. Again, to get this line into your fingers, play it over and over and over again. So now I learned that the A7 is played in the second bar, A7 to D. So I start immediately making my own lines. Make it super simple that you can easily apply the super powerful timing and the super powerful sound of Dexter Gordon. If we compare bar 3 and 4 to each other from the first chorus and the second chorus, the chords are not that different, but there's a little bit of extra development. Let's look into this. So I'll shortly mention the A flat as the flat 9, and then there's a little bit of bebop scale. But the most important thing is try to listen to the line and figure out what this is. What are the new sounds? Also, what I listen for is how Dexter Gordon is placing the chords. And he's moving the lines around. He's playing the functions wherever he wants. So looking at the D minor G7, playing a little bit of D minor, then playing G7, or the other way around. Because it's always the melody that counts. One of the really great things to keep in mind, play towards these target notes and then you're golden. And play pretty melodies. When you know what all this is, really try hard to make it your own. Go for what you hear and repeat it many times. Your ears are the most important ingredients when you're playing jazz. And exactly this is why I have made the deep dive lesson manual for you. To give you an opportunity to get into this line, to get into this way of thinking. Check out the pre-written material. You can easily grab it and add it into your own playing directly. Play it, listen to it, make it your own. Going from easy to a bit more advanced, you can develop your own playing really fast. The deep dive lesson manual download link is right below in the description. I started my jazz playing with listening to Dexter Gordon, and I still love his sound, his phrasing, his timing. So if you want to learn more about Dexter Gordon, learn these 3 amazing tricks from him. Check out the following video. Play music, have fun.